All right. Good morning, everyone. I forgot to get my water. All right. I am going to pull up the window and grab a water very quickly. I don't know why it closed out this window, but give me 1 second. Have to find our stream window now because somehow it got closed out. All right, there it is, Hound Dog. And we're good. Hey, good morning, David. Good to see you. I got emails from several of you saying, "Where's the link?" I'll be right back. I'm going to get a water. In the meantime, we have 5 people watching. Give me 30 seconds. And make sure you guys like this video if you're ready to do some Hound Dog Part 2. All right. Yeah, good morning to you, David. And I know Hugh's lurking in the background, but I'm waiting for him to say hello. And of course, Vicky, good to see you. All right, so let's talk about what we're going to do today. We have 6 people watching, which is great. We're going to continue on our Hound Dog song, right? We're going to work on the bass line. We're going to do the melody. We're going to go over the comping chords, and this is where it gets really fun. Then we're going to talk about blues roadmaps. I have several blues roadmaps that we're going to do. Awesome, yes. Peter and I have been talking, and he suggested the song of the month, and I love that idea, and so we're definitely doing that. I'm actually, if we get to let's say 7 likes. I don't know where we are now. I will reveal February's song of the month. How about that? If we get to 7 likes, so we're gonna have to cheer everybody on. All right, then we're going to talk about putting it all together. And remember, what's up, T-Man? We're going to put it all together, but we're still going to be doing this whole month. But what you guys are going to realize is that this formula that we're doing with these bass lines and these licks, these melodies, it not only are we going to build up a repertoire of really nice songs, but we're also going to be able to use these ideas in thousands of songs. And then we have another thing. I have the kitchen timer for success at the end. I brought a kitchen timer because we're going to talk about practice strategies as well. But here's what I mean is that we did the Ray Charles with this What I'd Say, where you have the Ray Charles licks. And so part of our blues roadmaps and part of having fun with all of this is that we're learning repertoire and ideas. So as we play even Hound Dog, you ain't never caught a rabbit and you ain't no friend of mine. You could go and do our ending, but we also could go, which is right from our Ray Charles thing. So as we're learning about improv, we're going to be doing some of our Ray Charles licks that go perfect with all of this stuff. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is this. I'm actually going to not work in reverse order, but I want to remind everybody about these awesome little kitchen timers. See if you can see that right there, or I just put it right here. But I love these because I just ordered this one off of Amazon. I have 2 of them. I have one at my work, and then I have one here. And it's just, I just do usually 6 minutes for me. If I want to practice one simple concept, I get my kitchen timer out because, a lot of times we think, oh man, I don't have time to practice, or maybe I'm not feeling practicing today. But here's what I notice is that if you turn on your timer and you start going, it really makes a difference. Like I always do 6 minutes because it gives me a minute to kind of get my mind ready and start practicing. All right, so we have 9 people watching. It's great. It's good to see everybody. You know what? I think we might be, let me just check something really quickly. What we're going to do is we're going to go bass line only at first. Let me just do a couple settings really quickly. Okay, here we go. So 5-3-1. What I love about this bass line, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and the middle note is the one that has the offbeat, 1 and 2 and, right? That's the tricky note of this particular bass line. So our melody is, you ain't nothing but a hound dog. And we're gonna put some comping chords with that. But you feel this 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3. So when it goes to the 4 chord, it's the same exact pattern. And notice that I'm outlining the triad. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2. So the tricky note is the middle note, but once you get it, you're going to have it forever. You're building up your muscle memory, and you'll have it in the same way that you have this now, the 8th note pattern, or you have the quarter note pattern. And then some of you have gone through the blues alternate bass line course where you're doing things like this. Even though this might seem complicated, all it is muscle memory in the same way we're doing. So that's why we're doing left hand only right now. And just for 1 minute, I'm going to go through the whole thing. And just a reminder is that as you practice this stuff, pick out what you're going to do. And it's a good thing to turn on your metronome, say for 2 minutes, for 3 minutes, for 5 minutes, I'm going to do this one thing. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. And then it goes to the 4 chord, the F. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And then G, 1 and 2 and 3 and F, 2, and then it's going to walk up. And the way we've been doing this, you guys know that we're doing the walk down. This is a great way to get back to the top of the form. You do the C on the top and the C on the bottom. And you go down a whole step in the right hand and go up a third. So C up to E, and then chromatically get to those G's. So one note at a time. Down, up. And this is a great thing I like to practice in any key. So let's say we're in the key of F, and I go, okay, the third of F is A, and I come down a whole step, and then you can get back at the top. So somebody yell out one other key, and we'll practice that. And then we're going to add in the melody. But while we're doing that, somebody yell out another key in the chat. Just practicing this right here. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. And you guys know in the membership area you have the blues alternate bass course, which does every single bass line you could possibly think of with this particular lick example 1. Key of D. So if you're playing the key of D and you get to the end, well, D has an F sharp that we have to deal with. So we go and we come down and then chromatically, and then we get there. All right, so B flat is a good key. So we have B flat. The third of B flat is D. So we're coming down a whole step and we arrive at the F together, right? If you're doing a blues and you're in B flat, then it goes to F. I'm sorry, E flat, and back to B flat. Now to F, E flat, right here. All right, so that's a great way to do that. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to the second thing, which is the melody. And we're still on our timer that I started at 6 minutes. We still have a minute to go. We've already been able to do a lot of things. If you have more experience, let me say this about bass lines. So we're currently working on C bass line, right, for the C blues, for Hound Dog, and you do C, same exact pattern. The fingering is always going to be 5-3-1. It doesn't matter what key you're in. So if I'm doing the 3 chords of C, I have C, F is the 4 chord of the C blues, and G is the 5. That we know. We're good there. As you change keys, notice that if I go to the key of G, let's say, I say, all right, the G scale has 1 F sharp. it has the F sharp. So what's the 1 chord of G? G, right? What's the 4 chord of G? C, okay. And then what's the 5 chord of a G scale? It's D. So I only had to learn one additional chord, and that's D, in order to get the G blues. So notice that as you start to learn this stuff, you'll have chords that repeat in other keys. All right, our timer just went off. We're going to switch to the next thing in just a second. But notice that as we're learning the G blues, I only have to learn one additional thing. So now I'm playing a G blues. Now C is the 4 chord of the G blues. Now when I go to D, I would have to adjust my lick by it's not a slide lick, it's a hammer-on lick. So bass line is D, C. Now here's where I do the G. There's the bass line walk up. Go to the 3rd of the scale and the whole step in the right hand, and then chromatically. All right, now we have 9 people watching. That's great. Now what we're going to do is the 3rd example is comping chords. Okay, going back to the key of C, and we need to do the melody first. So we're in the key of C, and what's great about this particular melody, it's right out of the blues scale that we've been working on, right? You ain't nothing but a hound dog. Just E flat to C. And we can practice getting the bass line. Now, if we just played just the melody, it's not going to sound that full, but it still sounds great. Crying all the time. So what happens here is this. You have this melody that's built out of these very important notes of the blues scale and also the addition of the A note. So you have the flat 3rd of C, which is really important. You ain't nothing but a hound dog. Just know that it doesn't matter what key you're in, the melody's going to start on the minor 3rd of the scale, and the root, crying all. So we're going to go down to the 5th, to the 6th note all the time. And what's nice about that is we go over the importance of certain particular melody notes that sound great over the blues. And let me just demonstrate this with a quarter note bass line just for a second. You have the minor 3rd, which sounds really great. The root is always going to sound great. And the A note is one of my favorite notes to play over the blues. We have tons of blues roadmaps that have that right out of Blues Volume 1. Now, another very important note that I love is the flat 7. I tell you guys all the time that if I'm not feeling bluesy, I'm not feeling like I'm swinging or really in the groove, I usually start on the 6th or the flat 7. Ba-da-da-da-da-da. And even this, da-da-da-da-da-dum, that's your minor 3rd, an octave lower. So I could go, be-da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. There's that minor 3rd to the root. There's that walk up that I want everybody to get under your fingers. So notice that once again, as we are playing these particular notes of the melody, it comes out right out of notes that are going to sound great over the blues. So not only does it sound great as a melody, but also improv ideas. I could play the the bass line and play the melody over it as an improv. Okay, so let's keep going. So you have the melody there, and it all fits under the hand. Notice that as I am working on the Hound Dog melody, again, this is for the whole month we're working on this particular song. By the end of the month, you're going to have it all put together with comping voicings, with all of our licks and everything. So just hang in there and practice these simple things. Let me turn back on the timer as we're working on this melody idea and showing you the different things you can do there. So I just set up my timer again, keeping track of my little mini goals. So we have da 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 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and you ain't nothing but a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now right here, right there, it's the and of 2, crying all the time. 1 and 2, cry. So the E gets the E flat, a little tension there. 1 and 2, cry in all. So the A note gets the G. And then the C's are together. You ain't nothing but a 1 and 2 and Hound Dog. That's kind of nice there that the E lines up with the C. You ain't nothing but a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and. Isn't that nice how those line up together? Crying all the time and 2 and 3 and 4. Let me refresh just to make sure. If we get to 7 likes, then we're definitely going, oh, we're at 6. You're going to get the reveal of the song of the month for February. Ain't nothing but a hound dog. I would just repeat that. 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, cry. And I'll keep going. Now, when it goes to the F chord, it's the same exact melody in the right hand. You ain't nothing but a hound dog, crying all the time. Now, what's nice about that, and very important, is that you guys know it doesn't matter when you learn the C blues scale or any particular blues scale that you're working on, all of those notes are going to work over the entire blues. So it doesn't matter what chords I'm changing to, those blues scale notes are going to still work. Let me demonstrate. If I go... Now when I go to F, I'm just doing the first 5 notes of the blues scale. All right, you get the idea. Okay, so then at the end you go, you ain't never caught a rabbit. So right there, it goes to the G chord, the 5 chord of the C blues. Never caught a rabbit and you ain't. And why do we go? We go to the flat third of the C scale there. You ain't no friend of mine. And then it does over the F chord. That's why that works. The F7 needs that flat 7, right? It needs that in order to make the chord work. You ain't never caught a rabbit and you ain't no friend of mine. Okay, so you're going to work on the melody and you can go right hand only and just sing the melody in your mind. You ain't nothing but a hound dog. I'm doing it faster than I would. Crying all the time. But after you get that melody down, it's a very simple melody. I want you to know the importance of being able to stay in this position. Da, ba, da, da. And notice that we have the minor third, the root, and the 5th and the 6th. Great notes. Ba, bo, do, da, da, ba, bo, do, da, da. Okay, so let me demonstrate that one more time. So notice that my hand is over the specific shape, and let's just say we played the melody, and now it's time to improvise. Well, I have all these notes that are going to work great. I could play that over the whole thing. I could pick any note. Okay, so let's say after we learned the melody, now we have to get into our comping chords. This is where it gets a lot of fun. We're going to do some things like our Ray Charles ideas for comping that we've done, and I'm going to give you some very simple ones at first. Let's take a C triad, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and let me give you a very simple one. I have about 5 that I was going to work on today, but I need to make sure we start off pretty easy. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. That's too difficult at first. Let me think. Let's do "You ain't nothing but a hound dog." And 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. That's a good one. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So the and of 3 and the and of 4 get the beats. And this is where your syncopation comes in. And what syncopation is on the offbeat, and there we have done another 5 minutes. So for anyone saying, I don't have time to practice, well, your timer is going to really help you not only stay motivated, but get a whole lot done. I'm going to go ahead and start it again and give us another 5 minutes. But notice we're doing this. You ain't nothing but a hound. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 2, 3 and 4. Now, in order to play something like an offbeat, a rhythm that doesn't fall right on the downbeat, a syncopated rhythm, it takes a little time to get used to playing those upbeats. And that's why I'm starting very simple with this one, but I'm still thinking about the melody and how can I do offbeat syncopations that are going to fill in the space. You ain't nothing but a hound. Here's without the comping chords. Ain't nothing but a hound dog. Okay, here's with it. Nothing but a hound dog. You hear how it's on the offbeat? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 4 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 3 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. Okay, so that's just the first comping example. If you understand that, put that in the chat. If that seems difficult, you can put that in the chat as well. But I'm going to break it down, and remember that you can play anything you want. You can learn anything if you play it slow and straight. So for this specific example, I'm going to play the melody, and I'm just going to do the and of 3 and the and of 4 with this specific comping rhythm. So you ain't nothing but a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. Fills. Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, fills are great, aren't they? Okay, so let me do just a little bit more of this specific and of 3 and of 4, because remember that we're doing this song for a whole month, and I really want this to get a part of your playing. Notice that when we learned our Ray Charles stuff, and we normally do that in the key of C, but we did in Ray Charles, we did... So the same thing, 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1. So that's where the magic happens with all these comping rhythms, and filling in these chords and melodies is putting that off beats, make it sound really nice. 1 and 4, and yeah, David, I get it. This is going to take a little bit of time, and that's why we're doing this for a whole month. But the good news is that when we did the Ray Charles thing, not only do I write out the PDFs, but we have all these written out already where you do. And the good news is the same concepts apply as we learn this new song. So we did What I'd Say where we did those specific rhythms, but now we're on You Ain't Nothing But a Hound Dog, and so the same exact patterns that you do the offbeats. Another great reason why we learn all these different songs is because we're building up repertoire that we can use. So you ain't nothing but a hound dog, and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Now, there are a couple of different notes that I can use when I'm doing these comping rhythms. We have this idea of, if I'm building a C7 chord, C, E, G, and B flat. That's a very simple chord, but what I'm doing here is, because I played my melody, you ain't nothing but a hound dog, I'm just using the top note, so my C is already on top, so I could go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Oh, see, another 5 minutes went by. Let's do it again. So we had this 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and... Now this is a great idea to write out for you guys. Is I am doing a PDF on all the concepts we're doing today. We already have the arrangement of the simple arrangement with these simple comping voicings built in, but I'm going to do separate sheets where we do the bass line, we talk about that, and of course you have your fingering for everything. But even things like this, you ain't nothing but this idea of going 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. But even slower than that. You ain't nothing but a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. Yes, that's exactly right, David. So not only one thing that we have been talking about, we just didn't do it today, and I feel guilty about it, is using our metronome, and I've been using our play along tracks. But let me give everybody a reminder here, and let me see if I can turn this on. Is I'm going to go to onlinemetronome.com. Let's see, online. So if you go to Google and you just do online metronome, I like this. I mean, we all have tempo apps on our phones and iPads and things like that. But what I love about this is you can put online metronome in Google, do it in that order, because if you do metronome online, it'll be a different program. But I like this one because it's very simple, straight to the point. And let me know if you guys can hear that. Let me slow this down. You ain't nothing but time. Okay, let's see. Love the Hound song, taking you back personally. Awesome. Yeah, that's a great song. Great song and fun to play. Let me turn on our timer again. All right, so let me check the likes. If we get to 7, I have to reveal next. Oh, we have 9. Okay, 9 likes. All right, so the song for next month is Can't Buy Me Love, a bluesy, gospel-y version of the Beatles' You Can't Buy Me Love. Can't Buy Me Love. All right, so that is February's tune, and you're going to love that because I already have things worked out for everybody. Okay, let's go back to this idea of what you can play. Now we need to shift into road maps for success. And I still have the metronome going on purpose. And let's just say we get our melody going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now this is right out of our Ray Charles. So we have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now let me just talk with you. Let me pause this for a second, and let's just talk about how do you get this down. Now a lot of our new members didn't have the opportunity to go through the Ray Charles things yet. But the good news is we're going to go over and do a review, and I will send out to everybody the PDF that has all of the Ray Charles stuff in it. It's a whole PDF, and it starts from absolutely zero. Now, in this case for Ray Charles, we are in the key of E. Boom, ba, 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 da, boom. So in the key of C, you had this. We worked a long time on getting all that together, and we will review all of that. But in this case, you had the same exact thing, but you had this bass line. There's the man of the hour. Peter, good to see you. We're glad that you could make it. Awesome. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and so listen to this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. There's the man of the hour to thank for this tune of the month that we're doing. So Peter has suggested that. Everybody say hey to Peter. And as we learn the song, we learn the melody, and we're learning these comping rhythms, is that once it's time to solo, we have all these ideas of course, you have the main melody, you ain't nothing but a hound dog, and that sits right nicely with our G, our A, our C, and E flat. All of those are nice melody notes that we can use to improv, just those alone. But we also have our blues road maps, right, going up to the 3rd, right, that we can work. Let's say it's time to solo. You ain't never caught a rabbit, and you ain't no friend of mine. I could go and 2 and 3. This is just one blues road map that you could use for your improv. You ain't never caught a. So even as I'm soloing, I'm often thinking of the melody. So I might go, you ain't nothing but a hound dog. I'm still thinking of the melody. right, another 5 minutes has gone by. Now, I want you to notice a couple of things that I did there. I did not do anything fancy. I only did our blues road maps. I either did this, which is right out of Blues Volume 1, or I did, and then the longer version where I walked it all the way down is actually from Blues Volume 4, where I'll show you how to walk it all the way down. And Vicky can help you guys locate that. But I think it's in Blues Volume 4. Of walking it down, it's the same pattern. The other thing I did is, even as a great improv, if you hang out at iMusicAcademy or a member, you know that our first example for Blues Volume 1 is one of our road maps. This idea of this, sliding from the minor third to the major third. And you have da ba da ba da. Learn it in all keys. It's usually two fingerings that'll get you through all the keys. But notice that on C, this is a slide key. You're sliding on from the minor third to the major third, and then you have your F where you're sliding from the minor third to the major third. Same exact hand motion. And then you have the G, which is the slide from the minor third to major third. So why is this important? Because I could use that as my improv. You go, you ain't never caught a rabbit and you ain't no friend of mine. Maybe blues example 1. Again. Or I could go just straight up and down. Okay, does that make sense? You're using blues road maps for your improv. Let me just give you about 3 or 4 different blues road maps that I'm actually writing out in the PDF, just to be clear there. Okay, so you have minor third to major third, 2, 3, 5. 2, 3, 5. Minor third of C to the major third. Maybe that's my improv. Now, what is that? That's one of our blues road maps from Blues Volume 1. And that is, that's actually in Peter's song that he has his own blues song, just like you guys do. And it's right out of Blues Volume 1. And the reason I chose that as a specific blues road map is because it's using the note of the 6th in your blues. I love the sound of the 6th. I also love the flat 7, we know that, and of course the minor third to the major third sounds fantastic. But this idea of and a reminder that your trick is, if I'm doing a C blues and I'm playing a C blues and I'm coming up with melody ideas, I know that the first notes of the C blues, first 5 notes of the C blues are going to work. But you also have the trick of using what's called the relative minor scale. C major, you go down 3 half steps, now you're on A, and do the first 4 notes of the A blues scale. So let's say, ain't never caught a rabbit and you ain't no friend of mine. Crying all the time. All right, you get the idea. Now, I didn't do anything fancy. I only did either the first 5 notes of the blues scale or I did the relative minor. Wasn't that nice that even over my improv, I said you can take, instead, if you're in the C blues and you want to play the C blues scale, all those notes are going to work. But also, you go down 3 half steps and now you're at the relative minor scale. And now you have boo-da-da-da-da-da-da, which is right out of our melody. You ain't nothing but a hound dog, crying all the time. And even when I go to the F chord or the G chord, same thing. I'm still on the A minor blues scale. A fun tip is that it doesn't matter if you're playing a C blues, you're not going to switch scales and play the F blues scale and the G blues scale. No, if you're playing the C blues, you're going to play the C blues scale, and you may go down to the relative minor scale, which is A minor, because it still has notes that we want. It has that minor third of C. And isn't that nice? But I could kind of do my improv based on the melody. You ain't nothing but a... Now, I love the sound of the flat third. Ba. So it's part of the melody, of course. I also love the sound occasionally of the minor to major third sound, and that's why I said one of our blues roadmaps that we want to do is 2, 3, 5. Do, 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 do. And I love the sound of 1, 2, 3. And I just practice this and get used to this idea of da-da. And notice that if I outline my C triad, I'm rolling up. I love the feel and the sound of 1, 2, 3. And your target note, your arrival note, is your E there. And just get used to this. Let's do that again. So the arrival note is the E against the C. 1 and 2 and the E and the C are together. All right, let's go ahead and wind up by doing this. We're going to put it all together. We're talking about putting it all together. And in this roadmap that I'm going to write out is I'm going to do the arrangement, which is just going to have the melody and the bass line at first. You ain't nothing but a hound dog. No comping. Oh, let me turn on the metronome. I should have been using it the whole time. And I did go through a season where I said, hey, everybody, I want you using the metronome. And then I kind of got out of it on our live streams. So thank you, David, for reminding me. All right, so 1 and 2, da, 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 da. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. So notice, I have to say this, where do the melody notes line up with the bass line? You ain't nothing but a hound and 2 dog. So the first one is the and of 2. Hound dog. 1 and 2, cry. So the next one is the E flat and the E on the same beat, on the and of 2. This is really, really important for success, having success doing this. You ain't nothing but a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 4 and gets the A against the G. Let's do that again. You ain't nothing but a hound dog. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and in that part, you ain't nothing but, so that has the 1 and 2 and, so it skips the right hand there. You ain't nothing, 1, you ain't, so the and of 2 is by itself. You ain't nothing but a hound dog, and those are together. Hound dog, so 1 and 2 and 3 and and 2, crying, gets the A over the E flat. Crying all the time, and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and well, you went and caught a rabbit. 1 and 2 and 3 and so the D gets the B. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and that's by itself. You 1, 2 and 3. One more time and then I'll add the chords and we'll call it a day. And 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. You and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. How about the A minor blues scale? And 2 and 3. Let's do comping instead. 1 and 2 and 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. All right, so as I'm going through this, I'm making notes so that I will write all of these in the PDF. Let me stop this really quickly because I want to make sure. Okay, so we have the blues road maps. I'm adding this one. I'm adding the 6th lick, and I'm adding the Ray Charles. And then we have 2 more because we're going to do 5 blues road maps that we're going to spend a lot of time on. The other 2 are this. You can actually just start here if you want. The 3rd up to the root, which is also in Blues Volume 1. And the last one is Blues Example 1 from Volume 1. And the trick on that, just so we're clear on how in the world would you line your bass line up, is just do it. 1, we have a chorus, blues alternate bass lines that has this, but 1 and 2 and the C note gets the E note. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and now once you practice this over and over of getting this muscle memory down and getting this left hand 1 and 2 and 3 and then you just have to play it slow and straight and line the beats up. And since it's a slow metronome, let me just demonstrate this. 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, let me check the chat here. I see somebody has snuck in. Somebody has snuck in. Would that be Hugh? Good morning to you, Hugh. Great to see you as always. Okay, now let's wind up by me going through these one more time of what's coming in the PDF. And I'm actually doing this PDF today. We have the melody, which I said, and then the next one is the comping chords exercises. So it'll be this. You ain't nothing but a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. This is going to be a goal for us, everyone. You ain't nothing but a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. If everybody agrees with that and understands that, put got it. Put got it. And what I mean by got it is this will be a fun thing to go through. You're going to turn on your metronome. You go to onlinemetronome.com. What I love about onlinemetronome.com is you can shrink the window down if you're on your computer, and it's just really convenient and easy and ready to go. But I would practice it. Let me go ahead and turn this on so that I'm showing you how I would want to practice. And I go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, F, I'm going to do this. 1 and 2 and 3. And then when it gets to the G, let's do. Let me do the G again. And then 2 and 3. And 2 and 3. 2 and 3. Now, what's great, what's so nice about that, let me stop this for a second, is that we're learning these comping rhythms. Then once you get it, it will be so natural. It doesn't matter what song you're playing. You'll still have this idea. Now, that's what we're going for eventually, more of a sound like that. And you have to start in baby steps. I still do this all the time. I'll practice sort of a little more busy, but I'll also practice it just like I did for you guys. Is this, you ain't nothing but a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. Let's go ahead and do it for F. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. And then on G, 1 and 2 and 3. 1 and 2 and 3. And 2 and 3. B flat. All right, so that's that. And then we have our blues roadmaps, putting it all together, and then timer for success. All right, do you guys have any questions, or what questions do you have as we wrap up for today? How about that? We have 6 minutes before we end. Actually, yeah, around 5 minutes before we wrap up. But I definitely want to hear from you guys if you're loving the new format. Also, we have so many cool things that are coming up, but I want to listen for a second. And I'm going to practice this. I'm turning on my metronome for one more 6-minute session, and then we're going to say goodbye. But now let's put it all together while you guys, I'll answer any questions you might have. Here we go. So let's say if I'm improving or doing my comping voicings. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. Oh, here's a fun fact for you guys. Once you get this basic rhythm we're doing is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, and then our right hand comping for the week we're doing 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So any rhythm or that specific rhythm and any chord voicing will work anywhere on the piano. So sometimes you'll hear me doing 2-note comping voicings if we're just playing a blues and we do like something like this. So listen, it doesn't matter where I am, I'm still thinking the same rhythm. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So do you hear how that same exact rhythm, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, in the same way if I'm doing like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1 and 2 and. So that doesn't matter what style I'm doing with the bass line. It could be blues or it could be jazz, but I'm internalizing, and we are together internalizing this basic rhythm even when we're doing this. You ain't nothing but a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And the answer to that is, Peter, absolutely. I'm doing a whole worksheet in the same way that we've done the Ray Charles worksheet, which I'm going to upload just so everybody in our community, in our practice stream folder, I'm going to make sure the Ray Charles workout is in there. And the reason that is important is because not only have we done all these for the key of E, we've also transposed them to C, and all that's written out. And the reason I want you guys to have that is because in addition to having, that particular bass line, you also have these licks that are written out with the correct fingerings, because as an improv idea, and I go, you ain't nothing but a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Isn't that fun that you could take that one idea, which is right out of what I'd say, and you put it, and now it's a part of your improv for Hound Dog. Isn't that fun the way that works? And once you have it, you always have it. Doesn't matter. I'm going to wind up. We have 2 minutes left on this stream, 2.5 minutes, and I want to make use of every second, is that as we do this and you get your blues example 1, notice that my bass line is back to the 8th note bass line. I can play this. I could go. This is my improv. Or I might want to do the A blues roadmap. I could go. Now maybe I just want to do comping. I could go 1 and 2 and 3 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and there's my and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, or if we do our bass line now, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 2 and... You ain't nothing but a hound dog. Now, what I'm doing right there is not hard at all. It's just a matter of putting all that together and getting your feel through repetition. All I did is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and exactly what we've been doing. 1 and 2 and 3. And I did add a couple extra. I did 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So you could do that all the way through. Anyway. All right, guys, what a great lesson today. And we have had a few people sneak in. I think I went public for the first 10 seconds, and I always have it set it to public, but it's always good to connect with our YouTube community. And I've been getting lots of emails whenever I accidentally go live to everybody, so people are checking in. And if anybody gets to the end of this and they want to be a part of all the things we're doing, just let me know, and I'll tell you a little bit about what it's like to be in the membership. I hope you have an amazing day today. Now, I need to tell all of you that because I launched the jazz thing, just very soft kind of launch, getting people going. I've had people email me saying, hey, I'd like to figure out what you guys are doing in the jazz thing. So I may go live after lunch, and just know that you're not required to be at that. This is, you have all access, of course, so you can always attend everything, and you will get emails for everything. But I don't expect you guys to join the blues and the jazz streams, but you know that you will be invited. So if you're doing something throughout the day and you want to be a part of that, come say hello. You can watch it, of course, everything on the replay, but don't feel overwhelmed like, oh, I have to attend the jazz thing. No, this is, we're doing a jazz thing where people who are really focused on learning jazz stuff, I'm doing some things for them, but you guys get access to everything. So I hope you have an amazing day today. I'm so thankful for our group. I really miss it when I'm not on our lives together. So thank you for not only being so awesome to me always, but also the way you guys interact with each other and encourage each other. So for the last minute of our stream, tell each other goodbye, and that we'll see you guys on the Monday stream. I hope you have an amazing day today. Love connecting with you, so you can always email me, contact me, text me. those of you who have my number. And if you need my number, I'll give it to you. Have a great day. I'll see you in the next video.